join me singing our opening meditation song, We Are One, on page 28 in the Free Books.
We are one with each other as we share the love of Christ within. We now open our hearts and our minds to receive. We are open, ready, willing, accepting, receiving our great
And so, as we take a moment to go inside and reconnect with that inner one, that center of divinity within the very essence of our being, we give thanks for this beautiful day and all that it holds for us, for the inspiration that we give and that we receive. So it is, and so we let it be. Taking in a nice deep breath, breathing in and out. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Reverend Mary Ann Kelly, and I'll be your leader for today. I welcome you to the teaching of the inner Christ. We are, in case you didn't know, we're a metaphysical New Age teaching that assists all of those who so desire in finding the center of divinity within. And so we invite you to join us in some of our services. We have them on Sundays and Wednesdays, and we have other things going on, and we'll relate those to you in a little bit. We believe deeply in prayer, in the power of prayer. Do we have anyone here who would like to share a demonstration of prayer this week?
Well, I'd like to welcome Captain Bob back. He was here about a year ago, but
Hi, Captain
good to
Bob.
see him
Welcome. We
still
love
alive
you.
and kicking.
Welcome, Captain Bob.
He's what, 95? He's still a practicing attorney. And
94 and a half.
94 and a half. Okay, 94 and a half. Oh,
he
wonderful.
just won a big case, so he's kind of celebrating.
He's an attorney and he won a big
He's
case.
still a practicing
Wow.
attorney and
Good for you. Good for
alive
you.
and
Welcome.
kicking.
It's good. Thank you. Thank you. And did I see another hand go up?
Yeah, I went to the doctor last week, and they take lots of blood samples, and I think Dracula runs. Anyway, all the blood counts were normal, so I don't have to do anything. So I'm really very grateful.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
So am I. Did I see something back here? No? No? Sarah?
Yeah, I'm not homeless.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Always good to have a home. Yes. Okay. Anyone else? All right. Well, we do believe in the power of prayer, and whenever we hear of demonstrations, that just strengthens our understanding of it. And I invite anyone who wishes. We have in our in your packet this morning, you have this little form, this little prayer form, and if you have a prayer that you would like to have some help with, some prayer help with, we have a fully functioning and active prayer circle, and they meet on Wednesdays, and they'll take this form if you want them to, and they'll pray on it for 2 weeks. And your job then is to let them know when it manifests and how, or if you need to have the prayer renewed, and they'll be happy to pray for you as long as you want. But at least once every 2 weeks, you've got to let us know what's going on, so we can adjust the prayer or do whatever needs to happen. So a little later on in the service, we will be doing a general prayer for everyone here. So I invite you to fill that out if you so choose, or hold it in your heart, or whatever you'd like to do, whatever suits your needs. So, like I said, a little later on, we'll be doing a prayer for everybody. Let's see here. We have a group song. And if you turn in your book, to page 3, Carry the Light. And we'll be accompanied by Ann Delamo on the piano. And
Meyer McKeever.
can we rise? We'll stand and
No,
sing.
you can't sing sitting down.
You can try.
There will come a time when the sun will shine all over God's creation, lighting every heart. We can do our share, we can send a prayer all over God's creation. It's not much to ask, not a heavy task, just send your love and light, lifting every heart. Everywhere you go, every place you go, each morning, noon and night. You can do your part. You can carry the light, pass it on to the others. All men are brothers, equal in the sight. Let people follow the light. Let all strife and warfare cease, and the people follow the light, the light of love and
Oh, thank you, Ann. And thank you, Ann and Myra McKeever, for that song. Well, we have some events going on around here. Wonderful events. Just a reminder to let you know that next month we have on October 18th, we have what we know as Awareness Day. And the Awareness Day celebrates the founding of the teaching of the inner Christ. Although not completely, it is the day that Babaji, the Yogi Master, the Yogi Christ, came and visited Ann Meyer McKeever. And it was the beginning of the movement that we know as the teaching of the inner Christ. And we have some special music coming that day, so you'll want to be sure to get here. Sally Zita will be here, and she's the granddaughter of Ann Meyer McKeever. So, and she's just so dynamic. You'll just love her. We have next Sunday. We have what we call our all music service. It'll be totally music and totally uplifting, and it just it's a marvelous thing. It's all about the music and all about the coming together and the inspiration that music brings to us. And so you'll want to be here for next Sunday for the all music service. Let's see, we have coming on October 11th, TIC presents a joy shop, and that is called The Little Things That Count. And it's a collage collection. So if you'd like to come to that, begin to collect the little things in your life that have meaning for you. And it's going to be facilitated by our local artist, Jennifer Lonick. And anybody who knows Jennifer Lonick knows that she's a dynamo. She's exciting, she's fun, she's very talented, and she just does stuff. She just knows things, and she's put together a collage of little things. And she'll be bringing the boards to put them on, and our job is to bring the little pieces that we want to put on those boards. And we'll put together something that has meaning for us for that day. It's a lot of fun. The suggested donation is $25, and that includes some of the materials, but do bring anything else that you can find that has meaning for you. And you know, you've got all of these little things in your dresser drawer, these little pins and things that maybe be kind of fun to show them off a little bit, because they're just kind of sitting there. Right now we have a class going on. It's called Love Scriptures. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to remind everybody, if they want to attend that collage
Workshop?
workshop, Joy Shop, they need to sign up ahead of time, because otherwise there may not be enough supplies to go around.
Okay, so
She needs to know that, so she knows how many are coming, so she can pick the stuff up.
Okay.
So,
Did everyone hear that? Okay, so if you want to come to the Joy Shop, the Collage Joy Shop, please sign up as early as you can.
Yep.
Yeah. So, right now, yes ma'am.
I just wanted to remind everybody, we have a class going on Love Scriptures, and on Tuesday there is the second lesson, and there are no prerequisites, so you can come at any time. But the time has changed. We meet at 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
Okay. All right, thank you. That was my next announcement, but thank you, Brigitte. Brigitte is the facilitator of that particular class, so I know it's going to be exciting and fun. Yeah, it always is. And then, in November 8th to be exact, we have Elizabeth Yakubian will be here. And she's going to be doing a chakra balancing and cleansing Joy Shop. And the theme is Heal, Energize, and Transform. And we know when you work with the chakras that all kinds of wonderful things can happen throughout the body. When we tune them up, we get tuned up. And so the donation for that one is $25. And like I said, it's on November 8th, that's a Sunday, at 12:45 p.m. So that's taking care of yourself. That's a wonderful thing. Okay, I believe that's it for now. Oh, no, there's one other. As you know, I'm the director of the outreach ministry. We have an online intersensitivity class that's just started this past Friday. So we have, if anyone would like to join the class, they can join this next, Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning. If you'd like to get into that class, or you know someone who lives out of town who would like to join that class, let me know, and I will arrange for you to join the class. So if you'd like to do it online, in the privacy of your own home, on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, let me know. And I'll be happy to bring you in. Let's see. Okay. So now, we have a real treat. I don't know how many of you know this man. I bet you all of you do. All of you here do, maybe not people in TV land or internet land. But this gentleman, and he is a gentleman, from the word go. He's originally from Kansas. He made his way through the Navy to San Diego, and he made his way to TIC through something, I don't know, something brought him here. He writes his own music, some of it, and so he's a composer, he's a musician, and he's just a delight. He's going to be doing Dance with the Spirit for us today. Please help me welcome Richard Musil.
Well, it's called Dance with the Spirit. You don't have to get up and dance. You could, but you can kind of dance. I think I was kind of dancing my own mind and spirit when I'm doing it. Dance with the Spirit, turn with the wind, feel the light presence of the being within. She guides you so gently, she lifts you with light. She'll pull you up softly into feeling just right. They are all around us, our teachers of peace, the vibrations of the Christ light. They give us new feet, feet that don't stumble, minds that will stay focused on the Christ light. See, it's a new day, turning around, turning within, to see the new answer, to sense the flowing spring. Now is a new age, now we begin. Dance with the Spirit, turn with the wind. Dance with the Spirit, turn with the wind. Feel the light presence of the being within.
Thank you, Richard. That's one of yours, isn't it? That one you wrote? Yeah. Wow, I like that. Our inspirational reading comes today from the Science of Mind. Today's reading for September 20th. And the quote is, "Waiting to be someone else is a waste of who you are." Yep, that's true. And then the other quote is, "The will of God for you is the will of a boundless life flowing through you." And that's a quote from Ernest Holmes. The first quote was from Kurt Cobain. After leaving the priesthood, the author says, I had to recreate my life. I found the Science of Mind and began to meet with the prayer practitioner. I asked my practitioner what God's will was for me. I was expecting some answer that had a plan laid out. I will never forget what she said to me. God's plan for you is very simple. You must show up 100% as Norm. So, we must show up 100% as me, as you, as us. That is God's plan for you. She was absolutely right. We are created from the perfection and are called to awaken that perfection within us. Since it is impossible to embody anything outside of ourselves, this knowledge must be an inner light. We must know that we are that inner light and express it. We are made in the image and likeness of God. To be less than that is to live a lie. By being yourself, you put something beautiful into the world that was not there before. St. Catherine of Siena stated, "Be who you are created to be, and you will set the world on fire." Think of that. Just by being who we are, we can set the world on fire. You ask yourself today to set the world on fire with who you really are. Don't wait. So slowly, and here's the affirmation. I show up fully as the divine expression that I was made to be. So, the divine expression that's made to be, that's going to speak to us today, is an awesome lady. She's wonderful. She is talented in many, many ways. She also writes music, and she sings for us sometimes. She's been a teacher of children. She's molded so many wonderful minds, and she's a teacher of adults, and helping us to remold our minds and to change our minds and to learn new things. She's an inspiration to a lot of people, me included. So I'd like to, she's speaking to us today on joy increases our sense of aliveness. Please help me welcome Elizabeth Brabant.
It's always nice to have an admiration society, isn't it? Yes. Okay, increasing our source of aliveness. This title actually came through Spirit, of course, as most of everything that we do here comes. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to think about joy and to think about aliveness. And as we live joyously, we draw into our lives more aliveness, I found. And I found out even more after I wrote the title down. It's amazing what that does. And this creates a greater and greater feeling. It's sort of like an upward spiral. You know, down here you're feeling the joy, and then maybe you go up a little higher, there's joy and aliveness. Up a little higher, there's joy, there's aliveness, there's peace, and you just keep going. You're spiraling upward. We've heard so much about downward spirals. Think about the upward spiral, because we can have those too. And I do have them every now and then. I love them. Well, this morning I want to talk just a little bit about 3 different things specifically. And the first one is that we remain centered in God. And this is the way that we create joy in our lives, as we are centered in God. Now here at the teaching we do that in a number of ways. And we meditate, we pray, we affirm. We know that we are always filled with the presence of Spirit. And that's a good thing, and it does bring in our aliveness. And it's very joyous. And as we embrace, this is the second thing, as we embrace newness in life, we bring joy and a sense of aliveness as well. All the newness in the world. Just think about every day when we wake up, really, we have that newness. We're a new person. We're not the same as we were the day before. We have new cells even. So then, there's one other thing. We will have joy. I read this somewhere, but I think it's true. We will have joy when we will settle for nothing less. So if someday we're down in the dumps, well, we know what to do. To pray, to meditate, to affirm, to claim and accept our joy. And that brings in that aliveness that God means for us. We're here to be alive. Well, keeping centered in God's joy is a great opening for bringing in the aliveness. And this is our divine nature to be joy, because we know that God is joy. All the time we're calling on our Christ self, which is Christ in us, and we call on Christ's love, Christ's peace, Christ's joy. So God is joy. How could we be anything else? We have joy throughout our existence. so many different things came to me. One of the reasons I think I like to write talks is I learn more than anybody else does when I'm writing them. Because I will pick out some books that I will read like 2 or 3 weeks before. And I'll get this little thing and that little thing, and then the last week, I try to get mine finished a week ahead of time. Doesn't always happen, but most of the time it does. But what happens to me is I learn so much as I'm doing that. And Jesus gave me an affirmation to keep saying, and I have been saying it. Here is the affirmation. If you'd like it, you can write it down for yourself. Each moment I am filled with a joyful feeling of aliveness. That's what I want to be filled with every day. Each moment I am filled to the brim, with a feeling of joy and aliveness. Now, I found a story that I really liked. And this is a story that was in a book by Joel Osteen. Some of us see him on TV occasionally. Become a Better You is the name of the book. And Joel was watching a TV news program. And this TV news program was right after Hurricane Katrina hit the South. And all of the people that he was interviewing were very negative. And they were just condemning everything around them, including the other people, and the government, and God. And all of a sudden, this young lady came up, and Joel said he could tell just by looking at her that she had a different attitude, because she was smiling. And she came up, and he said, okay, what is it you want to tell us? In a way that sounded like he expected it to be just like everyone else. But what she said was different. What she said was, I just want to not complain, but I'm here to give thanks that I'm alive and well, and that my children are all alive. And I want to say thank you to God. So that in itself was quite different. And then he went on to say, the newsman, well, everybody's been complaining about nobody has electricity or power of any kind. And that day, I guess it was 100 degrees there. And so they were quite uncomfortable. And he said, don't you have power in your home? Or do you have power? And she said, no, I don't have power. In fact, I don't have my home anymore. It was swept away by the flood that came after the earthquake. But I can tell you what I do have. I do have my hope. I do have my joy. I do have my peace. And I do have my life. So she was very, very grateful, and she knew what was really important. Her life was what was most important to her. Her life, the life of her children. That was all she needed to be joyful. And she was actually, what he says in the book is she was glowing as she was saying this. So her very attitude was lifting her out of the funk that many of the other people were in at the time. And she also had a Bible in her hand that was, that she said, I read from this Bible all the time, and it lifts me up. Well, one of the things that I mentioned was we embrace the new each and every day. I may not have said it in those exact words, but something to that effect. And I think that's a wonderful, wonderful thing for me, embracing the newness that's all around me. Each one of us is really new each day, as I think I said before. And I had an experience with life, new life. So this is another little story I'd like to tell you, but this is my story, not one that I got from a book. This was on Labor Day, several weeks ago. And Ralph and I were sitting outside. We were just looking at the view and, you know, talking with each other. And it's a nice place to sit and just enjoy. And all of a sudden, my eyes were drawn over to the sliding glass door that we have on the side that takes us out to the patio. And so I walked over that way a little bit because I saw something going on the ground. And it was a bird flapping its wings like it, you know, like it couldn't fly. And it wasn't even on grass, it was just on the rocks, so it couldn't have been very comfortable. I didn't know at first what kind of bird it was, but then I realized that there was another bird standing beside it. That bird, I could tell, was a dove. I love doves. The doves have come back to my house every year, and they make a nest out in front of the house in one of my eaves. So they pick a different one at different years. But they seem to love to come back, and I love to hear them. So their nest is right outside my front bedroom, and you can hear them cooing and cooing and cooing in their nest every morning, sometimes even in the afternoon. So I do love these birds. Now, we decided, Ralph and I, that we were going to see if we could help this little baby bird. But it was Labor Day, so, because my vet is very friendly, and I take Rue. In fact, Rue came from this vet. She gave him to me as a gift. Anyway, we would help this bird if we could. Ralph was going to see if he could get the bird, and I went to get something that we could put the bird in and maybe feed it bread crumbs or something, you know, just until we could get it to the vet the next morning. So he started to open the door, but when he opened the door, the little bird that was on the ground heard it, and so did the mother, and they both flew, but they flew even closer to us. They flew to, I have a patio set with chairs and table. They flew to the chair. So both of them were on the chair for a while, and I'm assuming this was the bird's mother. I don't know for sure, but I just know that there's a good chance it was the mother there with it. So the bird that seemed to be just having problems. He could fly, but problems with the flight. So, but he could still hop, it seemed. He finally hopped up on the table, and before we knew it, there was another bird that came down. And this other bird looked very much like the mother bird, and then another. So now we have 4 doves all on the table. Then one hopped onto the top of the chair with there's a rail that their claws fit around real well. And before we knew it, all of the birds were sitting in a line there. Well, we thought this is good, you know, the families all come to add support to this little one. And pretty soon, as we were watching, we saw 2 crows fly up to my neighbor's house. The same direction we're looking, we can see my neighbor's house as well. It sits back a little further than mine does. And, you know, we've had problems with crows and doves before. They have killed some doves before around our house. So when I saw that, I told Ralph, I said, I'm going to go outside and go around the side of the house and scare those crows away. That was my intention. So I did that, and I got out to the side, but I wasn't far enough with the end of my house, so I moved a little further, and then I went like this. And sure enough, the crows left. But it scared the other birds too.
Oh.
So the other birds flew to what is the least high place in my house, which is the sunroom, because it's flat. It was added and it was flat, not part of the rest of the house. So they flew, including the little one, managed to fly up to the top of that house, our house. And so I felt a little bit better then, because it was getting dark, actually. It was dusk. And, you know, the coyotes, and we have a few cats around the neighborhood, not many. Most of the cats are indoors because of the coyotes. The coyotes are around because we have golf courses where they live, I believe. So, anyway, now the birds are up on top of the house. And so Ralph and I went outside in front to see if we could see, because we couldn't see them up in the back at all. They had, you know, moved somewhere. So they moved all the way up to the top of the house, which makes a nice perch for them too, because the tile is curved more up there. And so there they were, sitting on the top of the house now. A better position than they had been in, down, you know, especially for the little one that could fly if he saw, at least I didn't think he could fly that much. He was able to fly a little at least. So these birds then were sitting at the top where they were only about 4 feet from the eaves, and I knew where their nest was because of all the cooing that they had done. So I thought, well, you know, he's going to get in the nest if he needs to get in there. And so we kind of let it go at that point in time. So it was, now what does that do with a new sense of aliveness for me and joy? I felt so joyous that those birds were now taken care of, that they were safe. And they wouldn't have been completely safe from crows, but I knew that the nest was near too, and they could get in the nest. I don't see how they all 4 fit in there, but somehow they did. And and of course, aliveness, a new bird is a sign of aliveness for sure. And it's really been interesting for me to watch the doves over the year, because I love doves. And I had a picture of a dove in a painting that I have in my house, and it was up there even right after I moved in. And then I realized that doves were coming to the house every year. So I thought, well, that's kind of neat that they're doing that. That they know that they are welcome here at my house. Sometimes I get up in the morning and I don't always feel joyous. I want to feel joyous, but I'm not feeling so joyous. So I think that I need to make a pact with myself, and I have, that if I don't feel that joy, if I just, you know, feel so-so, or I feel down, most of the time it's just more of a so-so feeling, I can lift myself to that joy through all the tools that we have here, with meditation, with prayer, with affirmations, with reading wonderful books like this one and many others that we have in our library. There are all kinds of ways to lift yourself, and having a joy meditation is a wonderful thing. I did also this week make a joy list. This is my joy list. It says up here shopping list, but up here I put joy list. And at first I wrote down about 18 things, and I thought, well, that's pretty good, but then I kept adding them every day. So now I have about 26 joy list things on my list, and I'm going to keep adding to them, because I think the more we realize how joyous we can be and what we can put joy into, we can put joy into everything in our life. We can put it in our very breath. We can put it in our sight. We can see with joy. We can eat. When we're eating, we can enjoy every bite. Every part of our body filled with joy brings a new aliveness to that part of our body. And it's a wonderful way to live, feeling joy, feeling aliveness, and I love it. So, these are some of the things that you might want to do this week. You might want to center yourself in God and ask for that aliveness and that joy. Actually, I believe aliveness brings joy and joy brings aliveness. It works both ways. You might want to embrace all of the new things that you see around you. New green leaves. In San Diego, we're having blossoms now even, and we'll have them into December probably before the new ones start again in the spring. That's one of the nice things about being here in San Diego. And also, remember that it is your choice. If you want to be joyous, if you're not feeling joyous, it's up to you to change that. You can do it through your thinking and through realizing. I found the joy list is kind of helpful, actually. I get this out and I think, oh yeah, I really enjoy doing that and that and that and that and that. And with all this joy on this list, it reminds me that life is truly a joy, and it is to be lived, and it is to fill us with aliveness. Thank you, wonderful God, for the joy in our lives today and always, the aliveness as well.
Boy, that joy list sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? Might have to do that myself. Sometimes it is a good thing to remind ourselves of all of the great things in our life. Thank you, Elizabeth. And so now we have a joyous opportunity. Also in your packet this morning, you had a little envelope. And if you so choose, you can stuff that envelope with as much as you can. We just love that. And we call this our offerings of tithes and gifts. And on your program, on page 12, we have a blessing of the offering. And if you'd like to say that with me, we can do that right now. So, together. I thank God for the divine abundance that flows freely through me. I joyfully give back to God through the teaching of the inner Christ. May I have the usher come forward, please? And now on page 74 of your songbooks, we have Lord, I Do Give Thee Thanks, if you'd like to sing that along with us. And Alamo will accompany us.
all of this abundance that comes into the teaching of the Antichrist to help it grow and to serve humanity. We give thanks for the people who gave this, and we know that it returns to them tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. And so everyone is blessed, the donor and the receiver, the teaching of the Antichrist. And it goes out to the people. And so it comes in full circulation. We give thanks, and so it is. Thank you, wonderful God. Thank you, God.
And so now, if you'd like to take your prayer form into your hearts, we will do a prayer treatment for everyone. So this is a prayer treatment for all of us here, for the fulfillment of our heart's true desires. We know that God is the source of all good. God is the creator of all good. God is all powerful. God is omnipresent. God is divine love. God expresses itself through all creation. We are one with God, the source of all. We are one with the creator of all good. We are one with all power. We are one with God's omnipresence. We are one with divine love. We are one with God as all of creation. So we claim right here, right now, for all of us, for each of us, the fulfillment of our heart's true desires. And so we accept each and every one of us, for ourselves and for each and every person here, the fulfillment of our heart's true desires as God's desires for us, working through us now. All error thought, fear, false appearance are now healed, forgiven, released, and let go. And in the vacuum that they leave is the fulfillment of our heart's true desires made manifest. And so we give thanks for the fulfillment of our heart's true desires manifesting right here and right now, trusting completely in the law of the universe of attraction to respond. We release, let go, and let God within us do the rest. Thank you, wonderful God, in all of us. And so it is, and so we let it be. Now, we have some meditation music, again given to us by the Reverend Richard Musil, doing What a Friend We Have in Jesus. Reverend Richard. Let's give him a round of applause now, and then after we'll go right into meditation.
Well, this is an old hymn, and we know that the teaching of the Antichrist is Jesus' teaching. What a friend we have in Jesus. All our joys and grins to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we always do get. Oh, what endless light we share. All because we do our creed shield thee. Thou wilt find the solace there. What a friend we have in Jesus. All our joys and loves to share. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer.
Now, as we begin our meditation, we become comfortable. And we call on God within us to give us the perfect right meditation. We relax our outer awareness, focusing on our body and our mind. We let go of our awareness of our body, just relaxing it. We relax our feet completely, and that relaxation moves upward through the calves, relaxing our calves, and our knees, and our thighs. Moving still upward, we relax the hips, the pelvis. We relax all of the organs within our body cavity. We relax our lower back and stomach, and our upper back and chest. Our shoulders relax, our upper arms and elbows relax, the lower arms relax, our hands relax completely. We relax the back of our neck, and we relax the throat. We relax the top of our head, and that relaxation moves all the way down our face. With each breath, we are more and more relaxed and centered in our own Christ self. We relax our conscious mind, setting aside for right now any thoughts. Moving deeper into the subconscious mind, we fill it with the peace of God, relaxing it completely. And moving deeper into the center of divinity within us. In this divine center, we are one with God. And we are open and receptive to what God feeds us during our silence. And we ask, specifically this morning, for feeding about joy and aliveness in our lives, and how it's best for us to increase this joy and aliveness. And now we move deeply in to the center, just letting go and letting God. Now, as we begin our return to the outer, we bring with us everything that God has given us in our mind or bodies to bring back to the outer world. And we're going to take 4 deep breaths as we come back. The first breath is a breath of peace. Breathe in and out. The next breath is a breath of joy. Breathe in and out. And then a breath of love. Breathe in and out. And coming all the way back to the outer, we breathe in a deep breath of life. Breathe in and out. Coming all the way back here, where we are, sitting on our chairs, and open our eyes when we're ready, and become more and more alert and awake and aware. We thank you, wonderful God. Let's all say, we are awake.
We are awake.
I am awake.
I am awake.
I am aware.
I am aware.
And I am in control.
Thank you, Reverend Elizabeth. That was wonderful. And so now we have an affirmation that we get to say, if you so choose, on page 12. Would you like to say it with me? Okay. Together. I create joy in the daily. I am filled with a joyful feeling of aliveness. Aliveness. Yay. Thank you, wonderful God. Well, thank you, God, for this service today. I'd like to invite you to join us on September 23rd, which is Wednesday, to continue. Joy increases our sense of aliveness with prayer therapist, inner Christ counselor, Jennifer Ellen Prather, who happens to be with us today. Hello, Jennifer. Say hello to the peeps. There you go. Isn't she wonderful? Anyway, so next week we have our all-music service. So I invite you to join us for that, because that's always just so delightful. Today, after the service, we have some board meetings. So if you have any anything you'd like to bring to the board, Judy Holmes, would you like to stand up, Judy, so they can see you? If you have anything you'd like to bring to the board, Judy's the one to talk to. And so there you are. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ann Dalama, for your wonderful music. Thank you, Richard, for your wonderful music. Thank you for our usher, Kayla Rose Carroll. And a special thank you to Kayla Rose Carroll, because you know what? She is the chairperson of our entire movement, and she keeps us all together. And I know that it's a lot of work, and without her, none of this would happen. So let's give her a round of applause. It's been my pleasure to serve you also today. So if you'd like to join me, let's gather around, make a circle. Oh, yes. And thank you, Elizabeth, for your wonderful talk. Yes. I'm going to make a list of joy things. Thank you. You've inspired me to do that. So let's join together in a circle.
Want to come up and join our circle?
Go up this way.
Love is the only way.
let's remember this week to settle for joy and aliveness all week long, and we can ask for more and more.
Absolutely.
Let's have that upward spiral.
Amen. Thank you.
Upward
Are you telling us we don't have to limit ourselves to 1 week of joy?
You could have
Get my can up.
Hey Bob, stand up and say hi to everybody. Hey Bob, I got you on the camera. Okay.